Today I want to talk about Khmun Vigor Skogul, which is easily the most common 4-star defense we're seeing right now, and test out some different counters against my own defense. My defense is ruined relatively well. It gets wins. I did show its runes in my Siege defense guide video, but I'll show them here again. So my Khmun is very tanky and fast, not on a crit damage build, not on violent. I think it's better violent. Like if you can do violent destroy with similar stats, um, I think that's probably ideal. My violent is spread too thin to be able to do that. My vigor also very tanky, 1 or 2 speed faster than Khmun. I think 1 speed faster. Um, and then Skogul also very tanky. I have additional damage on my artifacts, speed increasing effect to benefit from vigor. So it's ruined relatively well. If you go to the swgt.io website, you'll see this one at the top. And I think this is easily the safest counter to this comp. And I say that because I've only ever lost with it like one time, maybe twice, and I think it's because my Harmonia sucks. If you haven't noticed yet, my Harmonia skill 2 and 3 aren't maxed, so that's a problem. I keep fusing Harmonias, and they keep going into the first skill. Now that it's maxed, that'll not happen anymore, thankfully, and we can get that second and third skill maxed. And once that happens, I think it won't lose anymore. Ideally, she would have 100% resistance, either on Violent Nemesis, 100 resistance, or Violent Will, and just good stats in general. What can happen is Vigor lands defense break first turn, Violent procs, and then Khmun Violent procs, and kills Harmonia right at the beginning. Elucia is on Shield Will Revenge. I think Violent would probably be ideal with similar stats. You want them all to be high HP to be able to withstand the constant beatdown of Skogul's rocks and Vigor's defense break. So high HP. Violent would be ideal just to get her heal and sleep more often. Because what you want to do is just keep Vigor slept as long as possible, as much as possible, and work down the Khmun. And then once Khmun is dead, switch to targeting Vigor. And you can try sleeping Skogul. It lands sometimes, it doesn't land other times, but it's okay. Once Khmun is dead, it's pretty safe. So anyways, I'll do the match here, and it's going to be long and grindy, so I'll fast forward through it. Finally. Goodness gracious. I'm going to put that on 3 times speed, and it's still going to take forever. Alright, Khmun is finally dead. And now we go on Vigor. Yikes. At this point, it's 3v1 and Skogul has no chance. I'm sorry my air server is so laggy. I still think it's just because I'm on Wi-Fi, but I don't know, maybe air server just doesn't like Androids or something. I'm not sure. Alright, test has been completed. So that's number one. That's probably the safest comp. I mean, you see how long the match got drawn out, and I mean, I still survived despite having a unskilled Harmonia that has no particularly good runes. My Elucia isn't on Violent, she's on Shield Will Revenge, and my Vigor is not on crit damage, it's just really tanky. It's very rare for it to lose. A lot has to go wrong for it to lose. And when you're building your own Khmun Skogul Vigor, you can think about that and realize I should have my Khmun on Violent Destroy probably, because if Harmonia's HP is getting lower and lower and lower, eventually that rock's going to do a lot of damage. Or maybe I think Skogul's rock benefits from Destroy. Um, but it's just something to think about when you're building your defenses. Like that counter doesn't care if they're on will or not. So, but some of the counters I'm going to show you do do somewhat care if they're on will. So, anyways, we'll show you that here in a second. Second comp I like to use is this one here. Aegir, Loren, Aegir, Aegir, something like that. Loren, Harmonia. So this one, you do need relatively good runes. So I have my 100 resistance max skilled Harmonia for this one. My Loren has a decent amount of HP. She needs to have at least HP on 4 and 6. I think I don't even have that. Wow. Well, if I had HP on slot 6, I think this would be even safer. You could even do like triple HP. As long as she's faster than Aegir, you should be fine. You don't want Khmun to switch targeting to Loren. He can either target Harmonia or Loren. He'll often target Harmonia because that's where Vigor's targeting. And he likes to go for the lower HP, but not necessarily. So if Skogul rock drops and she has less than 50% HP, if Loren has less than 50% HP, Khmun will switch targeting to her, and that's the danger zone. So in this one, you control the Vigor with the attack bar pushback and kill him first. And it's shouldn't be as grindy as the last one, but it's still it's a little bit grindy. Alright, so air server decided to completely crash on me, so sorry for the jump cut there, but we're back at it. Alright, so I guess I should backtrack that you don't only control the Vigor with the attack bar pushback. You want to pay attention to the attack bars and try and push back as best you can. Loren Violent procs, I think, are really important for that counter. So try to get your Loren on Violent and very tanky. I'll show you the runes real quick, because I think I forgot to do that. So my Aegir is speed, crit rate, HP, and I think he'd be fine speed, crit damage, HP, or speed, attack, HP, whatever you can do to get decent amount of health on him. Artifacts are important too. If you can get received less damage from fire, water, wind on all three of them, just always look for that with artifacts. Receive less damage from the opposing element. Fire, water, wind is, if you have all three, that's great because almost every defense is fire, water, wind. So the next counter I like to use is Fran and two bombers. Cian and Malaka are good. Cian's particularly good since he comes back to life. So if he dies first, it's fine. He doesn't really need will like the other two need will. Most important thing is just to have Fran go before the other two. Chasun works as well, but again, you want some will runes in case Khmun has Despair and stuns the Chasun and can't get the attack bar buff up. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. You basically win if you land your bombs and you lose if you don't. That's how this one is. So it's more of a risky comp. I actually haven't lost with it yet. It's easy to get the accuracy requirements for Malaka and Cian since they have accuracy built into their skills. So we'll see how it goes. We got 2 out of 3 there, and all 3 there. And they derped too. Skogul didn't put up his rock, so this should be an easy win. I hate how laggy air server is. It's so not okay. It's so gross to look at. I'm sorry. I think I want to kill the Skogul. See if air server catches up or not. Look at that, like goes fast forwarding and all kinds of silliness. It's so garbage. Not a fan. Don't like it at all. Here's another potential counter using the Dark Assassin, which was a Hall of Heroes not too long ago, Isabelle. She hits very, very hard and has a crit rate buff, so you only need 70 crit rate on her, or even less if you have crit rate increasing effect from your artifacts. So anyways, it's not very safe because anytime you're using Galleon, if he doesn't land defense break, you're in trouble. And then on top of that, the anti-crit buff from Vigor is pretty dangerous. But if you get through those little RNG factors, it can certainly win. So we'll test it out here. And Skogul keeps derping. I feel like I might have lost this if he didn't derp. I guess there's still potential for me to, well, maybe not. That heal kind of saved me. Look at him. I mean, that was like, what, 4 or 5 turns that he hasn't thrown it up, so. Again, not the safest option, but it can certainly win, and that's what we're going for here. We'll have a handful of safe options and some options that can get the win if you're desperate to take the base. This is kind of a pay-to-win option if you're lucky enough to have the light Chun-Li, which my girlfriend summoned for me. It's pretty exciting. She hits absurdly hard. I mean, just so stupid how hard she hits. So Galleon, Clara, light Chun-Li can work. Now, if all three of them are on will runes, it can be pretty risky because if you've ever used Clara on offense, she doesn't land anything on offense. It's very rare for her to land stuff on offense. So if they're on will for this particular counter, it's bad. My comp isn't on will, so it generally does fine. Also, just using Galleon in general, if Galleon decides he doesn't want to land anything, well, that's another way it can lose. But if everything goes right, light Chun-Li can pretty easily deal enough damage on him. So 2 out of 3 stuns is more than normal. That's pretty good for Clara. And then all 3 defense breaks, and then light Chun-Li hits for like 60k. It's just so dumb. Some substitutes, if you don't have light Chun-Li, which I would assume most people don't, is maybe the light Samurai could work. That's about all that I can think of in terms of a fast damage doer to go right after Galleon. So light Samurai, also AoE damage doer, and high base speed like the light Chun-Li has. So that's that one. A mirror. This is obviously not going to be very safe. I have won with it on more than one occasion. I tend to only mirror if I can see the record and the record is bad. So if it is, far less than a 1-to-1 win-loss ratio, I'm confident that my runes are significantly better and my runes will hopefully outweigh the violent procs. That's the goal. So this is what it looks like with totally equal runes. I think you need at least equal or better to have any chance winning with mirror. So anyways. Ah, shoot. I just noticed their server's all kinds of messed up. Well, I'll give it a minute. We'll see if it catches up. Still frozen. Is it going to crash? No. Will it do the thing? There, it did the thing. So once Khmun's dead, it's pretty safe going from there, I think. So I would just say be careful trying to mirror it. If they don't erase records, then maybe you can see that it has a bad record, and if you trust your rune quality, then feel free to go ahead and attempt it, because it certainly can work, but it's far from my first option. Fran, Yin, Vigor. My Fran isn't on Violent. It's Shield Will Accuracy because I use it with that Bomber comp. Violent would probably, or almost certainly, be better for this. Most important thing is to have your Vigor faster than Yin, which is relatively easy to do. You just need to land a defense break on Vigor and have Yin kill Vigor, and then it becomes 3 versus 2 pretty quickly. So it's a decent counter. A lot of these counters use Vigor or Harmonia. Both of them are pretty ideal units to just bring against this. Harmonia has always been good against Skogul, and Vigor, he just does a lot. There's not a lot of units in the game that can defense break and heal and dish out some damage. Like off the top of my head, I can't even think of any other. Oh, I guess Ritesh. Ritesh can deal a decent amount of damage. He has a single target heal. So I want to test the Wind Drunken Master. Oof, that was bad. That was not good. The Wind Drunken Master, he has heal and defense break on his 3rd skill, and also heals on his 2nd skill, and then potentially can deal a decent amount of damage. I feel like the rune requirements for him would be pretty high though, unfortunately. This is already a loss though, losing Yin like that. Vigor Yin Triana works just as well, and maybe even better. So we got it that time. You want to have Yen pretty tanky. I think when the rock drops and Skogul has skill 2 ready, you want to at least be able to survive a rock drop and a skill 2 from Khmun. And if you can survive both of those, then that would be ideal. If Khmun is on Violent, then it's likely he'll Violent proc into skill 1 and finish her off, which would be unfortunate. So, it's not my first option, and it's obviously not 100% safe, but it does work, and that's the goal here. And maybe Triana would work better than Fran. I'm not sure, but Vigor, Yin, support, basically. Maybe the Wind Undyne would be good too if she can land her skill 2 on Skogul. So here's another potential counter using Shield Will, Bomber, Galleon, and AoE damage doer. This time the Dark Samurai, which was a recent Holo Heroes. And again, I would say this is not 100% by any stretch of the imagination. You need to be tanky enough to where if Skogul's rock drops, like the Violent procs his very first turn, you still live to be able to do your things. And anyways, if they're on Violent and the Violent happens and Galleon doesn't land his stuff and Malaka doesn't land his stuff, then you're in a lot of trouble. Also, if Sige doesn't crit, that's bad news bears. You don't want that. So, anyways, it can work. It's worked for me in the past. In my recent videos, if you've seen me use it, it has not worked. So, I would not say this is the safest option. It's probably the least safe. So let's see here. Again, air server is going to be super laggy. I'll give it a minute. It's trying really hard. It's trying really, really hard. You got this, air server. I believe in you. There it is. Okay. Galleon third skill. Cross your fingers. Come on, air server. You got it. There it is. Fantastic. And then Malaka bombs. Cross your fingers again. There it is. Sige third skill. Sige. Siege. I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Oh man, that's ugly. So pixelated. Gross. So this has been like ideal RNG though. I landed all 3 bombs, I landed all 3 defense breaks, and Sige dished out some damage. So that was really good. Of course, what you're seeing is essentially a slideshow of garbage, so sorry about that. Let's try Malaka third skill. Oof. That hurt. That hurt. Let's go second skill. I think I want to go on Vigor. If I go on Khmun, I could deal too much damage and Khmun would give himself a shield. And I don't think I want that since the shield is already on Vigor. Okay, and then fourth skill with Seed. Yeah. So again, not the best option. I'm sorry air server sucks so much, but but it does. For me anyways. I know it works for other people, and I think it's just because I'm on Wi-Fi. I'm house sitting for someone, so my computer's here, and I have no way to do a Ethernet connection. So if once I get home and my PC's hooked up where it should be and how it should be, I think, or at least I hope, air server works a lot better there. So anyways. Alright, again, here with another not safe option. Khmun, Orion, Betta, if you're lucky enough to have Betta. Orion should be violent, and ideally some tankiness in the HP department. Mine is not. It has defense, so the Skogul rock, it hurts. It has won for me before, so that's why I'm showing it here. I would not be surprised at all if it loses here. It You're just kind of relying that Orion does Orion things. Betta's really solid since she has 2 heals compared to like Triana or the Wind Undyne that only has the 1. The problem is she doesn't have a cleanse, and the heal block is just brutal because it seems to be like always there whenever you need to be healing. So, anyways, we'll just go wherever the defense breaks let us go is basically how it works. I almost never use Orion's skill 2. I pretty much always use the skill 1 just so he has that much higher of a chance to violent proc. Because as many skill 3s as you can get is a good thing. And I think to make it extra safe, there would be, you want Orion to be high HP, and then also you'd want Khmun to be like maybe Violent Destroy on a crit damage build, something like that. Yikes. Ouch. So, yeah, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised at all if it lost. Um, my Orion, like my goal is just to be fast on violent for defense. So ideally you'd have it be much higher HP, so it's not almost dead after 1 rock drop, and then Khmun probably on destroy. That way Khmun's shield and Skogul's rock hurt less and less throughout the match. So anyways, it's something you can test out with your own runes if you happen to have those units and those runes available. Alright, so just some other comps that I think can work that I don't have the monsters for, or if I have them, they aren't built yet. Martina, Shayna, Triana. That's kind of a free win against almost any 4-star defense. Martina's just really, really good. So if you have her, you can always just Martina twins, strip, defense, break, stun, go crazy on them. Molly's another really good, safe counter to it. Molly's just kind of busted right now. She's got a huge heal and the shields and sustain, so it's just you could do like Molly, Aegir, Vigor. I think you see on the swgt.io website. So if you have Molly, you can give that a try. Aegir's good with Vigor because both of them heal, both are tanky. He's got the strip on his 3rd skill, and I mean it just deals a bit of damage as well. So maybe rune him on Rage and Vigor on Violent. Make sure Vigor goes before Aegir. My One of my guildies uses the Second Awakens Light Warbear to nuke somebody. I think he uses him with Harmonia. So he does, I think it's his 3rd skill that brings him down to really low health, and he does a lot of damage, and then Harmonia brings him back. So there's also Khan, the Water Bernard. He's got defense break, and he does damage based on HP, which is always a good thing. The Wind Mermaid here, I have her 5-starred. I need skill ups for mermaids like crazy, so I think she would be relatively good. Her 3rd skill has a 1 second. Okay. Her 3rd skill has a strip, defense break, and cooldown reduction, which is, I mean, it's just a solid skill. Her cooldowns are low. She has the same 2nd skill as Molly and Tetra. So I think she could do pretty well. I plan on attempting her once I have her built. Another one that I think could do okay, but it's kind of tricky is Ramagos. With Ramagos, you want to have like two single target healers, because if you have AoE healers, which a lot of 4-star supports are, like Triana and Harmonia and Betta, Fran as well, they all heal everyone, and you want to keep Ramagos low. Chasun too, so he's just kind of tricky to use, but I think maybe like Elucia, Ramagos, and then Lumi, the water sylphid. I'm not sure which one it is, but she has that single target heal that's like just cleanses and max HP, and I think it's on like a 3-turn cooldown whenever she's max skilled. So all of that sounds good to me. Yeah, so 3 turns, removes all harmful effects on target ally and fully recovers health. And then second skill is putting skills on cooldown, which is also very nice. So anyways, I think Ramagos could do well. If you do have him with uh, AoE healers, then you probably want him on Destroy, so you can just, it'd be a long grindy match, but maybe he gets down to like half HP and you use his third skill anyways, just to destroy some HP on Skogul or Vigor or someone, and just work it out slowly. Um, anyways, I think that's about it. Oh man, Claude, what are you doing, buddy? Really wants to be on my desk right now. Um, where was I going with this? um, another thing I wanted to show was monsters with both defense break and heal, like Vigor. Why I have so many Vigors. It's because there's not a lot of monsters that do this, and he does it better than anyone pretty much. Annabelle's pretty good, but she's 5-star, and we're talking about a 4-star base. The Herny Water Dryad, I haven't got her to work at all. I've tried her multiple times against multiple comps, and I just can't get her to do anything other than die. Bella works really well for a lot of different comps, and she's one of 2 monsters in the whole game that can recover HP, defense break, and remove beneficial effects, which is fantastic. She has a very, very good kit. Difference between her and Vigor is she brings no damage to the table, which Vigor brings a lot of damage and has higher base HP. We're going to try and get you off one more time. Maybe you'll stay off this time. There we go. So, anyways, um, Fire Viking, he only heals himself with his 3rd skill, so he's not good. Don't build Joffrey. Bella, on the other hand, I highly recommend Bella. Another thing with Khmun Skogul Vigor is that heal block, both on Khmun and Vigor's first skill. That makes it very challenging for like Betta and Bella and supports that don't cleanse, because their heal just, it seems like anytime you need to heal, that heal block is there. Anyways, those are a handful of counters to Khmun Skogul Vigor, and feel free to comment any counters you may have that I don't know about. I know people have used like just Copper Dozer, which I think is very risky with the anti-crit, but a lot of the comps I showed were very risky too, so sometimes it's just the same defense gets repeated over and over and you only have so many options. So another one is Galleon Julie Garrow, just looking at my box. I've seen that. Uh-oh. They found something. Um, anyways, I think that'll do it. The animals here seem to be wanting something, so thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. I think I'll probably make a series of these, how to counter a particular meta defense. So I figure Khmun Skogul Vigor was a good one to start it out. Anyways, bye.